In order to qualify, there are various qualifying criteria and what investment categories and how much you need to invest. When the program was launched in 2012, there were three categories. So there was the €1 million capital investment, and that you can even just leave lying in a bank account. You can buy Portuguese government bonds. You can buy a share portfolio as long as the portfolio is invested through the Portuguese stock exchange. So about 10% of our clients have actually gone that route because they simply don't want the hassle of owning another property, but it is expensive. And the question would be, if you're going to leave your money lying in a Portuguese bank account, what kind of return are you getting? What are the risks? So again, it goes down to your personal financial circumstances. The second one, which has been by far the most popular, is investing in real estate, and the minimum investment there was €500,000. There is a new property criteria which I will expand on just now, but the €500,000 is simply you can purchase any real estate in Portugal. So you could buy 3 apartments that aggregated make up €500,000 in 3 different parts of Portugal. You can buy a farm if you want for €2 million, and as long as you've gone over the $500,000, you can buy a factory, any real estate. It's not prescriptive like if you want to get residency in Mauritius, for instance. You have to buy in a government approved scheme, which is very expensive. And the question that I would then ask is, what's your exit strategy? So that's been really popular, and the Lisbon property market has been very good over the last 4 or 5 years. Clients have made some fantastic capital returns and also really good rental yields. The third one, which has been the most unpopular, was to set up a Portuguese company and employ at least 10 Portuguese people. And for obvious reasons, I sort of say the golden visa is really a residency by absence program, because you only need to spend 7 days a year in Portugal minimum on average over the 5-year period. So that's 35 days to become permanent resident over a 5-year period. So unless you're planning to go and live there, you probably don't really want to be setting up a business. They have recently, I think it was in 2015, they brought in a new category of €350,000 minimum real estate. But that brings in a little bit of complexity, because what you need to do is you have to identify a property in an area that they've designated for regeneration. The property must be more than 30 years old, and cumulatively between the purchase of the property and actually refurbishing it, your minimum investment must be $350,000. So what you as an investor need to do is purchase a derelict building. You need to get planning permission to improve it, and you need to contract somebody to come and do the work. Now, if you're going to try and do that from 10,000 kilometers away, I think you're going to bring a lot of complexity into it, and it comes down to my advice to clients: if you can afford the $500,000, buy a property, get a title deed, and then when you make a residency application, it's very simple. The $350,000, I'm a little bit nervous about it, because if you have a contractor that doesn't do the job properly, or your plans get snagged in the planning department, or there's any other issue that can happen in that kind of building environment, it may compromise your initial residency application. So we're a little bit cautious of that. And then there's a further discount on any property investment, whether it's the 500 or the 350. If you buy them in very low populated areas, there's a 20% discount. So for just over 400,000 if you buy in an outlying area. But from an investment point of view, I would then ask the question: what's your exit strategy? What's your capital growth going to look like? What you've got to understand is the government are trying to stimulate real estate outside of the really attractive areas. And if you're going in just from an affordability point of view, you must also understand that your exit strategy might be compromised.